Ducey, any seat will Ducey.
Members' time has expired. Honourable
Leader of the opposition, the party on 32%, spending his 5 minutes talking about a party that's not even in Parliament yet. The 32% party talking about a party on 2%. May be interesting, but I would have thought that the leader of the opposition would have spent their time putting up their policies as an alternative to the very good policies of this government. Very surprised about that, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, 5 short years ago, just 5 short years ago, New Zealand overwhelmingly elected the John Key-led National Party to lead the new next national government with our coalition partners. We spent that 5 years thus far, Mr Speaker, repairing, rebuilding, refocusing our shattered economy. Repairing, rebuilding, refocusing confidence in New Zealand, trying to build and succeeding now, but the work continues, better public services, building in, bringing in policies which matter to New Zealanders in their homes, in their families, not the PC nonsense that just 5 years ago so preoccupied the members opposite, many of which are still on their front bench. Mr Speaker, constantly the National Party, in the 5 years we've been in government thus far, putting in policies to create real jobs, to create real wage growth for our families in New Zealand. And we must note that every single one of those policies, Labor and the Greens have voted against. The National Party is the party of jobs. The National Party is the party for families, because every single one of the policies we've put in place to help their circumstances at their level, Labor and National have voted against, forever still preoccupied in their PC nonsense and all sorts of interesting things that may be interesting in the Beltway to their caucus, Mr Speaker. Better public services that have brought in national standards in education, aiming for a better educational outcome for 5 out of 5 of our New Zealand children. Better outcomes in health, more electives than ever. Better policies in law and order, which has led to a reduction in crime, particularly violent crime. Amazingly, Mr Speaker, it takes the national-led government to bring in better policies for the environment, such as fresh water standards. One would have thought the Greens would have promoted that a wee bit when they were in arrangements with the Labor Party last time. National not only is the party for jobs, for families, National is also the party for the environment. We don't just talk about it, we do it, we do action, Mr Speaker. We're also enabling the regions to invest in their future. We are the party for jobs in the oil and gas industry. We are the party for jobs and water storage projects such as the Ruataniwha scheme in Hawke's Bay. I note the Labor Party is against jobs in the oil and gas industry. The Labor Party are against the water storage project in Hawke's Bay. Mr Speaker, just 5 years ago, the Labor policies led to the decade of deficits. The best commentary I've seen in quite a while of what the 9 years of Labor meant was John Armstrong in the Herald, when commenting on the preview, he said, the Treasury's pre-election fiscal update bleeds so much of the red stuff that the document looks like the aftermath of Dracula running amok in a blood bank. The numbers in this horror story are truly awful. Mr Speaker, that was commentary from a neutral observer after 9 years of the Labor government. The worry is, as bad as that all was, those policies are still unchanged with the Labor-Greens opposition. The policies actually are unchanged. The only new one I know of is the printing money one, which I haven't heard about for a while, but that still seems to be a policy. So the policies that led to the decade of deficits, the policies that led to rampant taxation, lack of confidence, ballooning public sector by the Labor Party are still in their manifesto. They haven't changed them. They may have renamed them. They may have reskinned them. National is on track to achieve surplus next year, Mr Speaker. National's on track to achieve surplus, in spite of the export recession over 5 years of the Labor government, in spite of the Labor resultant recession for 1 year since 2008, in spite of the global financial crisis, in spite of the tragedy and the tragic circumstances around the Christchurch earthquake. National is on surplus to achieve a better, brighter future. The work continues, Mr Speaker. We cannot put it all at risk.
Dr Kennedy Graham.
Mr Speaker, on Friday